Hello again everyone and welcome back to Skyblock News. I'm your host Derailious and today we're going to be going over a bunch of information that points in the direction of Hypixel doubling down on the latest version of Minecraft. Before we begin though, I just want to say please make sure to like and subscribe down below as it really helps out the channel a lot, and use code RAIL on the Hypixel store for 5% off your order. Without any further ado though, let's get started. Now the first thing to go over here is actually related to the main lobby of Hypixel. If you go over to the Spooky Man for now and you click on him, you can actually see that there's a hardware survey right there. This is basically a link that takes you to the Hypixel website that gathers a bunch of basic information about your computer, what you're running on, things like your CPU, as well as asking you to do an internet speed test to see how fast your internet is. All of this information is useful to Hypixel as it allows them to determine what the average specs of a player are, and this is important because of something they write on the forums. Connor Linfoot, a developer at Hypixel, writes on the forums, "Just to provide a small bit of context, we're doing the hardware survey so we can build a rough profile of what hardware is most commonly used to play on Hypixel. This is so we can try to target specific sets of hardware for performance with newer content, especially the heavier content being worked on with projects using the latest versions of Minecraft." And this is pretty clear cut. It seems that the admin team is focusing on trying to go in the direction of new versions of Minecraft, but that's not the only announcement that points in this direction. The Hypixel team official account posted today on the forums, "Hey, we wanted to post a quick thread explaining our goal moving forward for keeping up to date with the new versions of Minecraft for our latest version content, such as Build Battle and Skyblock Foraging. Since the release of these updates on 1.21 and 1.21.5 respectively, we've yet to increase the required version or publicly discuss the long-term plan for version support. This post intends to publicly share our current plans so players and mod developers can be aware and prepared moving forward. Over the past year or so, Mojang has increased the rate at which they release new versions of Minecraft, especially versions that contain new content both for players and developers. As a result, we want to try our best to keep up with these new additions to be able to bring better content to the Hypixel server, and to avoid content being limited to content from a random version. It's hard to give an exact plan due to these versions sometimes being simple client-side bug fixes all the way to full content drops with new technical abilities that we'd love to utilize in future content. However, our goal moving forward will be to support the latest 2 content drops, regardless of their size. This is somewhat subject to change based on discretion, mostly down to the frequency at which the updates are released. With that in mind, for example, if we were implementing these changes today, that would mean that after the recent release of 1.21.9 and 1.21.10, we would bump up the required version for players to 1.21.7 for these pieces of latest content. There are no changes to 1.8 versions. We also plan to keep all latest content on the same version where possible. This will avoid confusion both for players and internally, so we're not juggling too many different versions for the different games on the server. Moving forward, we'll utilize in-game messaging in the modes that use latest content to notify players ahead of time before the minimum version is bumped, and we'll have a small period of time to let players transition and update their client and mods as necessary. So this is once more in the direction of going to the latest version of Minecraft wherever possible. Hypixel does not want another situation where they remain on a version like 1.21.5 for the next decade, and then in 10 years down the line they need to do everything all over again, upgrade their back-end software. They want to keep up to date consistently, and this is a goal that makes a lot of sense considering they're trying to make new latest version content for seemingly quite a few game modes, but most notably Skyblock. It definitely is pretty exciting to hear that the admins are going to try to keep up to date with the latest Minecraft versions wherever possible, and also the fact that they're running hardware tests is really nice to see. Hopefully this streamlines the development process, makes things a little bit better, and we can start seeing the fruits of latest version content development soon in-game. I would love to hear what you guys think about this in the comments down below. I'll also have both forum posts linked so you can view them and go over them and do whatever else you would want to. Would love to hear what you think once again, and look to the future, fellas. I'll see you then.